So this video is about my predictions and thoughts about the NBA second round and what I think is exactly going to go on. Let's get into it. So first things first, let's talk about the series that everybody's been waiting for. Denver versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. First things first, I think the series is going to go to 6 games. I think it's going to be a competitive back and forth series with multiple very close games, but I have Denver taking it in 6. The reason I have Denver taking it in 6 is even though the Timberwolves have the defensive prowess that they do, there's just no one that can really stop Jokic. Rudy Gobert can try his absolute best to slow him down, but he's not going to be able to stop him. Jokic is just an elite offensive player. And even if you're able to neutralize Nikola Jokic, he still has this ability to pass. Now, one thing that I want to say that the Minnesota Timberwolves have going for them is their perimeter defense is elite, and that's going to be key for taking out this team. I personally believe that the best strategy for taking this team out is kind of letting Jokic become a primary scorer for this team, and that's it. If you're able to neutralize his passing and him getting his teammates involved and neutralize Jamal Murray possibly, you have a really good chance at winning this series. I think Jamal Murray is one of those players who, down the stretch, he's just so deadly and he just takes over for this team, getting clutch bucket after clutch bucket, and he's been this way. I'm not just saying that because the 2 crazy shots he hit on my Lakers. I'm just saying this man is so good, and if you can neutralize him and have him struggle, that's amazing for this team. Now, another thing that you have to neutralize is their absolute sharpshooter, Michael Porter Jr. Ever since all this information about his brothers has gotten out, this man has been hooping like his lineage is on the line. But they do got Jaden McDaniels. They got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels, and I think Jaden McDaniels is going to do a great job slowing down Michael Porter Jr., making it very hard for him to get the looks that he likes and the open looks that he wants. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to have a solid 14 points, 15 points per game in this series. I don't think that he's going to pop off as nearly as much as he did against the Lakers, having games of 26 points per game. Now, a player that I think the Minnesota Timberwolves have no answer for is Aaron Gordon. This man, Aaron Gordon, is just too strong, too athletic for Cat to do anything, to be honest. I think that Cat's gonna get bullied by Aaron Gordon, and Aaron Gordon is such a feasible defender on the perimeter and inside. It's gonna just make everything hard for Cat, the second best scorer on this team, to get off. But what Minnesota does have going for them is I don't think that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is gonna be able to hold Anthony Edwards at all. Actually, I think Anthony Edwards is gonna walk him down just like he did the Phoenix Suns. Anthony Edwards is just such a good talent. His offense is going to beat the amazing defense that they're able to provide. But I don't think that's going to be enough, so we're going to give it to the Denver Nuggets in 6 games. Now for the second series in the West, we're going to be talking about the OKC Thunder versus the Dallas Mavericks. I personally have this series going to 7 games, but I have the Dallas Mavericks prevailing. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want to say is the OKC Thunder have all the capability that they need to beat this team. The perimeter defense and the players that they can put on them is phenomenal. J-Dub, phenomenal defender that you can put either on Kyrie or Luka. SGA, I want to say he led the league in steals and he's a great perimeter defender. They just have players like that they can put on a Luka, put on a Kyrie to slow him down or just make things harder and make them have to adjust to their new game. But the reason why I'm going to take the Dallas Mavericks is I just believe that the experience level of these two teams is really going to play a factor. Luka's been here before. Kyrie's been here before. Those two, they have a lot of experience in the playoffs. Well, SGA doesn't have that experience. J-Dub doesn't have that experience. Chet doesn't have that experience. But what they do have is they do have the advantage to the big man. And I believe if OKC wants to win the series, Chet's going to have to go nuclear for this team. So the Dallas Mavericks do have a feasible big man in Daniel Gafford Jr., who I personally really like, but I just don't think that he's enough of a factor to stop Chet Holmgren. If Chet Holmgren can get buckets on him and neutralize him and be able to play a little bit of help defense in the paint, I think the OKC Thunder could win this series, but I personally don't think that's going to happen. I think Luka Doncic is just going to have his way with this team, and just the way that he's able to control the offense through his playmaking alone is going to really have to warp the defense, and he's going to draw so much attention from his scoring that I have them taking this series. Now let's get into the Eastern Conference matchups. So I think the Knicks versus the Pacers is going to be a very interesting series, young team versus young team, but I think that the Knicks are going to absolutely destroy this team. I just think that the Knicks defense, their continuity, the chemistry that they have is just going to be way too much for this team. And just what they provide on defense. I think that the Indiana Pacers have absolutely nobody that they're going to be able to throw at Jalen Brunson. I think OG Anunoby is going to play phenomenal going against someone like a Pascal Siakam because he's played with him before, he knows his moves, and he's just all around a great defender. I think he's going to be able to really neutralize Pascal Siakam. So the only way that the Indiana Pacers win is if we have in-season tournament Tyrese Halliburton return. But I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't see that same guy right now. I just think he's still battling through his injuries and he's not exactly at his full potential. So I have this series going, I'm going to say we're going to 5 games. And I think that the New York Knicks are going to assert their dominance throughout this series. Now for the last series, at the time I'm recording this, I do not know who the Boston Celtics rival is going to be, but let's keep it $150, bro. It doesn't matter who they're going to be. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they're already struggling to play against the Orlando Magic. So if they advance, Celtics lunch me, bro. And if the Orlando Magic are able to make it, I just think that they're not experienced enough to be able to take on this Celtics team. Derek White's been popping off lately. Jason Tatum. We know these players from this team, and they just have too much talent that they're not going to be able to contend. So that's basically it. But let me know your guys' predictions down in the comments below. If you think that someone's going to upset someone, let me know how many games. Like and subscribe for more videos. NBA Sphinx out.